Okay, wasn't expecting to do a video anytime soon, if ever again, really. But I did a very similar one like this with Shadowhunters when the news broke about that in 2019, 2018. I can't even remember now. And here we are again. Here I am again, getting far too invested in the show. Shadow and Bone's been cancelled. We're not getting a season 3. We're not getting the Six of Crows spin-off that was in development. They had the whole thing written. And yeah, I've thought I would do this just because I need to let it all out. I need to just get it out there. This is just for me, really, more than anything else. I don't have that many people that I know IRL who watch the show, and certainly no one who is obsessed with it to the extent that I am. Genuinely, this has been my hyperfixation for a good couple of years. Ever since I saw edits of the Crows just going around just randomly, I was like, what's that then? Because I'd never heard of the show. That's probably like 3 or 4 months after season 1 had come out, back in the days. And I just watched fan edits at first, and I was like, this seems like my kind of thing. I'm going to read the books. And I actually, because I was more so drawn to the Crows, I read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, which are now my favourite books of all time. I love them so much. I love the characters. I love the world. And I was so intrigued with that. And then I watched season 1 of the show. I adored it. Got involved in the hype of season 2 coming out. Binged it all on the day it came out. Been actively involved with, discussions and obsessions with it online ever since. And obviously we've been waiting for like 7 months, 8 months for news. And I thought during all this time, like, yes, I just want an answer either way so we can just stop all this waiting, because come on, it's driving us insane. Like, you can't keep us waiting this long. And you get to thinking, like, well, if it's been this long and they haven't cancelled it yet, surely it'll be fine. So when you do get the news, I'm like, actually, no, I would have rather just gone the rest of my life waiting for news. It's sitting quite badly in my stomach at the minute. I feel quite sick. And I know it's sad and pathetic and quite unhealthy, I think, to be this attached to a world and characters in a show like this. As has been well documented on my channel, if you've seen that the past year or so, the past couple of years have been really fucking hard, really awful, just the worst time of my life. I am struggling day to day just to survive, financially, mentally, all that jazz. And the one light I found, ironically, Sun Summoner, has been discovering Shadow and Bone and discovering these characters and reading the books and just loving them so much. And, a lot of these characters, Kaz and Jesper, Inej in particular, they've become some of my favourite characters of all time, and I was just so moved by their stories. And Lee has just written just an amazing world, and I'm literally reading. When I saw the news on Twitter, my friend tagged me in on Twitter, when the news broke, or should I say X? It's called X now, isn't it? I'm looking at it right now. My microphone's lying on it. I'm reading Siege and Storm at the minute because I haven't read the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I've been going through them, and I'm halfway through Siege and Storm. I was literally reading it when the news broke. So yeah, I just got so lost in this world, and I just love it so much. And it really has been what's been getting me through. The excitement of like, oh, what if the spin-off does this? And what if Shadow and Bone Season 3 does this? And, kind of learning about all the other characters that I didn't know as well. Nikolai in Season 2 was a huge surprise for me, how much I loved his character. And now that I've been reading him in Siege and Storm and stuff, and I know he has a duology of his own, he's become one of my favourite Grishaverse characters. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to see where that goes. And I know, obviously, the show changed things up quite significantly from the events of the books, and I think that's you know, brought out mixed emotions in a lot of people, myself included, when, you know, I watched season 2 for the first time. But it really, it sounds so sad, doesn't it? It really has been like the light of my life for the past like year and a half. Like I've thought about it every single day. Like I've engaged with it every single day. I've been waiting with bated breath every day for 7-8 months, waiting for news. And the news isn't good because Netflix, Netflix cancels everything, doesn't it? So I shouldn't be surprised, really. I'm not going to be naive and say like the numbers for season 2 were amazing. They weren't. I think they were good enough for a renewal, but they're also saying due to the impact of the strikes is one of the reasons it's being cancelled, and they're going to be milking that excuse for years. And it's kind of bullshit, bad taste, I think, as well, to try and again, oh well, you shouldn't have gone on strike then, should you? That's what they're trying to say, especially when you think and look deeper and like. Eric, the showrunner of Shadow and Bone, he was kind of, I think he was like a key negotiator in the strikes. So his attachment to the show, it feels a bit like punishment in that regards to that. Obviously, I can't say for sure that's what it is. It's all alleged and quite the coincidence, really. So who can say either way? But I don't think that's a fact that can be ignored. And yeah, I've just been so looking forward to like the celebration of like getting more, and we're not getting that. And Lee obviously posted on Instagram about it, and she started like an Instagram channel today of all days for it to happen. She sent like a voice note to everyone in that channel, like thanking them, and you know, she was just so emotional, and that was getting me quite upset as well. And I really don't know what I'm gonna do knowing we're not getting any more. Like, I was heartbroken when Shadowhunters got cancelled, but at least, you know, that got an ending. They commissioned an ending, and we got like closure and a conclusion. We're not gonna get that here, unless by some miracle, you know, a campaign or whatever works. I really hope it does. Oh, it gets picked up by another network, but Netflix is fucking tight about letting their things go. They won't renew it, but they also won't let anyone else make more, which is fun. Thanks, Netflix. So I don't know. I'm a real mix of emotions. I say that all the emotions are negative, but they are mixed together, so they're technically mixed. But yeah, I tried to remain realistic and be like, you know, chances are when we haven't heard for this long, it's not going to be good news. But there's always that part of you that's you hope. And they did Geeked Week last week, which is when they kind of announced loads of big news about their upcoming shows, and they do big surprise announcements and everything. And they said there were going to be surprise announcements. I don't think there actually were any, really. And at the end of their live stream for Geeked Week, they kind of had this thing, this graphic. It's like, you know, keep up to date with all your favourite shows and check out, you know, keep up to date with the news on all your favourite shows. And they literally use Shadow and Bone in a clip in the background. Clear as day. It's not even hidden or obscured by any text. They put it in there, probably knowing at the time that they were going to cancel it. That just, you know, it's a real spit in the face. That was less than a week ago they did that. And now this news is coming out that it's cancelled. I don't know. That feels in very poor taste to me. And to blame the strikes for it is just such a low blow. So yeah, I really don't know what I'm gonna do now. This has been like my only interest for like a year and a half, really. Like I've watched other shows and movies and stuff, but I always come back to thinking about Shadow and Bone and the Crows at the end of the day, in particular the Crows. You know, Kaz Brekker has, I think he's probably my favourite fictional character of all time now. And I love Inej so much. Jesper has allowed me to kind of, I think, learn and accept things about myself Um, and Wylan has rapidly grown as a character for me as well. Like rereading the books and watching the show, Jack was just perfect casting, and just so sad we're not going to get more. And it's gotten me involved in all their careers and watching other projects that they've been in. I would have loved to have seen Jack in Next to Normal. I just I don't have any money. I can't afford it, or couldn't afford it. It's finished now. I'd love to go and see Kit in his show in London, but I have no money. I'm literally recording this sat on my bed in my bedroom. I was in the middle as well. I was taking a break to read from packing up and sorting out my flat because I have to move out because I can't afford to live here anymore. So yeah, just a real shit time of it for me. So this just feels like another kick in the teeth, and the one thing that was like, it's okay because we might have this coming. Imagine if we get this, and imagine how excited the cast will be that they get to tell the story. And we're so close to getting all 6 crows together, we just don't. I feel so bad for Callahan, and that who plays Matthias. He spent all of season 2 in prison, and he's never going to get out of there, poor man. He's never going to film scenes with any of the other crows. Obviously excluding Danielle. I just know it would have been so good, and the scripts are written and everything, and we're just never going to get them. And the cast are just so perfect, and they've talked so many times about how much they love the books and the characters, and it's been amazing watching them, and all the new additions in season 2. How they really did feel like a family behind the scenes, and I'm just so heartbroken for them, just as much as anyone else really, because they put their heart and souls into making that show what it was, and they're all so incredible. And the fact that they're not going to get to explore these characters anymore, and I know like Amita was so excited to delve into Inej's backstory that they haven't delved into yet, and now she's not going to get that chance, and that just fucking sucks. Seeing what happens, like even now I haven't finished the final book of Shadow and Bone. I don't know where it all goes for Alina or Mal or Nikolai yet. I don't know where all that leads. And obviously I'll read it and find out, and I would have read it before season 3 would have come out. But to not get to see like Jesse and Archie kind of continue those stories and take them in really interesting directions, it just makes me sad. It was the one like guaranteed bit of happiness I would have on a day-to-day basis, and I can't believe it. I'm just not getting them back now. Obviously, in time, it's still very raw. We got the news like half an hour ago, but just like knowing we're not going to get a proper conclusion as well. And obviously, I know like with like the crows, I know how their story kind of goes and wraps up in the books mostly. I've read the Six of Crows books. I know, like I have the closure of like, okay, these things happen. There you go. But to be able to see those stories and those characters in live action was such a gift. Kaz and Inej is like one of my favourite fictional couples of all time now. And the way things end with them in season 2 is so angsty and sad, and the fact that we're never going to see them reunite and make things right. It's just so heartbreaking. Like I'll admit I did have a little bit of a, tears may have been shed when I first saw. But now I just feel like so numb to everything, and I'm like, what enjoyment can I get now? And I know that will get better in time, and I know that's more so just my brain rather than the fact that Shadow and Bone's been cancelled and we're not getting the Six Crows spin-off. I know it's deeper than that, but having something that kind of pushed through all of that negativity and all those bad thoughts I've been having, and all that just unending sadness I've been going through, the fact that that's now gone is just like, oof. Oh, fuck. I'm trying so hard not to cry. But yeah, I'm so sad for the cast. I'm so sad for Lee. And you know, the writers and the producers, the directors, all the crew who worked on the shows as well, and people, you know, just giving such amazing performances. I'm so sad we're not going to see them get to play out the rest of the story. I'm so glad to have kind of found the Grishaverse and found these books that I can read and enjoy and follow, because they have become some of my favourite things I've ever kind of come across. And I'm so happy that I've come across all the actors in the show that I can now follow their careers and really enjoy, and, you know, hopefully see, you know, if they do other shows and films or something on stage, I'd love to see them live and maybe meet them at conventions and stuff. But I think going to a Shadow and Bone convention now would just make me so sad. And that reminds me, shout out to my friend Sarah, who I met through, I met on Twitter through Loving Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually, is where we kind of started. You know, we then had Shadow and Bone as a mutual interest as well. And she actually did get me an autograph from Freddie at a convention recently, because I couldn't afford to go. It was a couple of months ago now, and she surprised me and sent me that, which is just the loveliest thing. So there's so many wonderful people I've also met online that, you know, their tweets have given me so much life over the past like 7 months of waiting, in particular for news. So you know, it is a gift, and it's not like all of that goes away, because I'm still going to have those people. I still have the books. I can still rewatch the show. But, you know, the Crows in particular, like, just meant so much to me. And the Six of Crows spin-off was like, that would have been just my thing. You know, that would have been the thing to wake up every day for, because we'll be one step closer to getting it. And now we're not getting it. And I'm going to have to push through this first period of grief, and try and, I don't know, I'd say find another thing to get obsessed with as well, but why would I bother? Like, streaming is just dead. Streaming is just dead to me. Like, why is this the future of entertainment when you don't have any incentive to get attached to any shows? It's like, oh, I'll start this new show. Oh, actually, no, they'll cancel that after a couple of seasons and it will end on a cliffhanger and we'll never see what happens. Why should I watch it? You know. I just don't have any interests ongoing now that I'm like this into, you know. So yeah, that's just my ramblings and my thoughts. I'm just really fucking sad, and it just, this news has come at a time. I'm already at the lowest I've ever been in my life, in every state of the word, really. Actually, now I'm at the lowest I've ever been in my life. So for this to just be like the cherry on top of a cake, and the cake is poisoned. It's a poisoned cake. It's not a cherry on top of the cake at all. It hasn't helped me. It's not good for me, this news. I wish they'd waited for a more convenient time to devastate me like this, when I was feeling a bit better about things and life and myself. But there have been moments where I have felt better about things and life and myself because of Shadow and Bone, and because of finding the books and finding that fandom, and the cast. So I'm grateful for that, and I will continue to be grateful for that. But right now I'm just really fucking sad. And I know it's just a TV show, but, you know, people get attached to these things. If you've been following me on my channel for the past, 6 years, you know, you'll know I get very attached to TV shows and characters and certain storylines, and this is one I was very attached to, and one I really would have loved to react to on the channel, but just never quite worked out timing wise. And when season 2 dropped, things were kind of not going well on the channel anyway, so I wasn't doing them. I did do a review of season 2. I think I really would have pushed to come back and do more for Shadow and Bone season 3 and the spin-off, but yeah, we're not getting it. So that's that. I'm gonna keep praying and hoping that, you know, somehow someone else maybe takes control of it and makes more, or Netflix reverse their decision. You know, it's not unknown. Like with Warrior Nun, I think they reversed that and did a bit more for it. You know, with Shadowhunters, I know it was like Freeform and Netflix kind of together, kind of helped commission an ending to the show. And that was just a whole mess in itself, what happened with Shadowhunters. But so, you know, there's always going to be a hope. But I'm also kind of tired of hoping now, because look where it's got me. It's got me, you know, try not to cry at midnight in the middle of November, tidying my house. And I don't know how much more I can give, because if I give much more to it and we still don't get it, just bad times all around, really. But I'm so grateful to have found it and discovered it. I'm so grateful to the cast and the crew who worked so hard on it. I'm just sorry to them more than anyone else, because I think somehow they wanted it and wanted it to happen even more than us fans did, which is saying a lot, because as a fandom we've been very vocal. So yeah, it's a bleak future in the short term in regards to this news, but again, you got to keep pushing through it, and I will try. But for now, I'm going to let myself be a bit sad about it, because I'm very good at letting myself be sad about things, much like Kaz. So yeah, that was, I just wanted to get all this out there. You know, at the end of the day, it might not resonate with some people. Some people will be like, oh, you sad git, what are you doing, like holding back tears over a TV show being cancelled? And to them I'll say, well, it's not my first time, joke's on you, I've done this before. But yeah, I wanted to get it all out there. I wanted someone to kind of rant to and cry to. So thanks for listening. If you stuck around this long, thanks. But yeah, if there are other fellow Shadow and Bone fans out there who are as sad as I am, do kind of, you know, let me know in the comments, and we can grieve together. And I hope you're all doing okay with the news and everything. But yeah, that's that. I just wanted to get that out there. Honestly, I might delete this video out of embarrassment like 5 minutes after I post it anyway, or the day after, who can say. But yeah, to Lee and to the cast and crew, you know, thank you for bringing this show and these books into my life, because they really have, I think they really have saved me this past like year and a half, and I think they will continue to do so. So, you know, not the ending we desired or wanted, but yeah, certainly a lot of good has come out of it too, even if the ending was sad. But yeah, that's my little message. That's me done. Thanks for listening to the rambling, and I might see you whenever, who can say. But yeah.